Okay, the moment that we've been waiting for is finally here. Wow. Yeah, it has taken us quite some time and a lot of preparations to actually make. Let's try and keep our phones off. Good afternoon, everyone that is live, that is joining us through Facebook. We are live on Facebook. And today we are here to present the first annual Flightcase movement lecture.
Yeah.
Which is going to be presented by President Freddie Nyatela. And this one, because it's the first one and it's happening at a time that it's happening in, I'm not going to be specific.
Yeah.
We've dubbed this one or titled this one, The Death of the Industry.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, before we get into the formalities of the day, just have a couple of house announcements to make. Well, today,
look
today's
at them.
yeah,
Look
today's.
at the
Thank you. I kind of forget that. Today's event is going to be broadcasted on Facebook, and hopefully we can get through to YouTube as well. And the Flightcase movement is a movement that was initiated by Ntate Kagiso, Moima or Masimini. And, and it's a movement that was done to counteract or to come up with interventions for technicians during a time that we didn't expect at all, you know, a time for the pandemic. We'll be talking more about that, you know. Unfortunately, this one is not interactive, meaning that it's going to be kind of like difficult for us to actually interact and try and answer a lot of questions online. But we are seeing you online, and we can see all the people that are watching. If there are people that are that are watching and would like to join, please send them the link and let them join us so that we can actually have a very informative event that we actually aspired.
So maybe just to also remind the viewers, the first hour it's gonna be myself and Kholofelo talking. He has a lot of questions, and you can send through your questions, comments, or contribution. I just needed to add that.
Okay, fantastic. And then, so before we actually go into the formalities, I'd like to propose a moment of silence for all the heroes and heroines who have played a role in the making of this industry what it is today, and who are not with us anymore, who have fallen victim to the pandemic. And then after that, we will carry on with the formalities. A moment of silence. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So apparently you need more energy.
Yes.
I'm
now,
looking here.
Like I've said, oh, do I need more energy? Okay, I'll give you more energy. Okay. Apparently the moment that we've been waiting for is finally here. And the program for today, obviously, like KG has said in the beginning, we first gonna have a talk show, and then after the talk show, we're going to have the lecture, which is going to be presented by the South African Roadies Association President, Ntate Freddie Nyatela.
Oh, yeah, I cannot wait.
I can wait.
Yeah, I cannot wait. Yeah.
So the question that probably is in everyone's mind,
Right.
is the industry dying? Or should I say, in the past tense, is the industry dead?
I am tempted to think it's on life support in the ICU and the lights are green and red, and the waves are going up and down. And really, I mean, we we came up with the hashtag death of the industry, because in the last 18 months we've really suffered. We've gone through everything from mental to social and economic, and we've really suffered badly as a sector. And look, honestly, I feel that the stories that you hear from different members of the industry is different but similar at the same time. And it's really unfortunate that, it has even taken 18 months for us to really realize that we do not have a sector that we can point to with pride, or a sector that can stand up on its feet and fight for the members or the people who work for the industry. So it is on life support, to answer your question.
What do you attribute the problems that we are currently facing in the industry, and mainly the problems that became visible,
Right.
the cracks that became visible immediately when the pandemic hit the industry? What would you say is the cause of those problems?
Yeah, I'm tempted to say COVID exposed us and took our dirty laundries and put it on the streets, because this conversation does not start today. For the past 5 years, for the past 10 years, we've seen the growth in the industry, but it was not an inclusive industry that you can take pride in to say, I belong to this industry. And that's purely because of its historic origins and who were the pioneers or the front runners of introducing the industry, whether technical or production or live events. You would remember in '99 when we left. Well, I think I'm still your senior.
Well,
When we left Tshwane University of Technology after specializing in sound and lighting,
Sure.
it was very difficult for someone with the texture of my hair and the color of my skin to really sit behind a lighting desk and be able to operate, because I don't think at that we were second class citizens, So taking it from there, actually, this is why today we are here, right? To hear umlandu of the live events industry from someone like Ndate Friday Nyatela, because we don't know. Yeah.
To
Yeah.
interject,
Interject.
there.
Yes.
I would like to know to believe that our industry has got pioneers and it
course.
has legends.
Of course.
Do you think that enough has been done by legends, pioneers,
Yeah.
to prevent what we are going through today?
Yeah. So this industry has a lot of pioneers and legends too.
Sure.
But as a young person looking at them, and as happy to know that they actually took the bullet for someone like me, they got greedy.
Wow.
They
Okay.
got greedy.
So
Let me explain
Okay.
why. Let me explain
Explain.
why. They got very greedy because then they realized that I was talking to a gentleman, someone who I revere and really respect. His name is Alvaro. He owns AV Systems. And we were talking about the multifaceted companies that we see in the industry, in the sector, right? And how certain businesses started off as lighting, sound, audiovisual, staging, and so forth. And later, and this is what underpins the disunity in the industry, because they got greedy. The pioneers, the legends, the one that we respect and that I still do respect today, But then later realized, oh man, I can have sound, I can have lighting, I can have staging, I can have that. Now, from an economics perspective, I don't think they really thought of it that way because greed has a way of blinding you, you know? And everyone is susceptible to greed, by the way. You know, I'm not only pointing fingers because we became the, we took the baton from them and continued. This is why our companies right now are doing multifaceted, or they specialize in different disciplines, or they offer different disciplines.
So are you saying that this unity, because this is on the lips of each and every person that talks about the industry, that this unity, are you saying that it comes all the way from the top and it filters all the way down?
Look,
the legends are not united?
You know, no, the legends are
The pioneers are not united?
No, they're fine.
Okay.
I mean, we talk to them every day. They're fine. But the cries are the same. But then it's easy to
We're still fighting the same battles.
Yeah, but it's easy to throw a stone, right? It's easy to throw a stone and blame them. But I am saying, since for the past 20 years, what have we done that we can point to and say, we as an industry are proud of that?
Okay.
If today, talking about, there are a lot of epochs of disunity that we can point to. Race is part of it, right?
Yeah.
The free market.
Free market.
It's another one.
Rates.
You know, we can include the government, which send out its own spies and become, especially in the supply chain management or procurement management, where now you get a call to say, hey, reduce your price, because how are the agents for who? Why are we having government officials calling people to tell them who priced so much in their tender document?
The role of government. Do you think the government is playing?
No, let's finish this one, because the disunity it's the very essence that disables us from coming together and fighting as a human race together, right?
As an industry, and a human race.
Then there's a black and white, right? Then there is why do the private sector preferring white-owned businesses over black-owned businesses? Now you find a company in Malalani in a garage that has 2 speakers and subs and 2 stage decks, and they call themselves
a sound company.
A sound company.
Yeah.
Why? Because it smells from where? From the head down, bro.
Yeah.
And it's the different, hence I just given you the epochs of the disunity in the industry. And what I think, and these are just my opinions, by the way. These are my opinions.
Your opinions.
Yeah.
It smells like the industry in its entirety lacks regulations, lacks the structure, and lacks like proper platforms. To address all of these issues that you have put into context right now. By having this lecture with Ntate Freddy Nyathela, I'm going to come back to the government question later. By having this lecture, I think I should ask this one. What do you think will come out of it? Is it something that's going to be guiding us in the right direction? And what are we hoping to achieve by having something like this?
It is... I'm an African and I cannot run away from that. And I've learned a lot from my elders. And that is why... we should have actually hashtagged Umlandu as part of the first Flightcase movement annual lecture. The reason why we thought of this, we needed someone who has been in the forefront and fighting for the development of a black child in our society, or an African child, right? Someone who knows that the future belongs to those who requires us to stand up and be courageous enough to face what the government, or to face the rot in our own industry. Because we must not sit here and say, oh, it's the government. No. So, Ntatenya Teller brings umlandu. And we thought, this is someone who pays a lot of money to fight the corruption that we see in the government departments and the other offices that are.
It's all over the news.
Right? It's all over the news. It's with the private protector, it's at the high court. And every day you look at this man and think to yourself, he will not live forever. And I want to walk in someone's shadow, not footstep, just shadow. If I can be like 1% of who he is in terms of moral standards, the principle, and what he's fighting for. An incorruptible human, like Ndate Fredinya Taylor. This man, you have to understand that in the early days of the industry, when you sit around him, it tells you about where it all started. Who was doing what? Where was Ophalopid? Where was Kevin Jones? Where was Kevin Glover? And which countries they toured, in South Africa and part of the southern tip of South Africa, right? This is someone who has produced so much talent and skill in the industry, many of which have their own businesses today because of them. Others are overseas working, someone who sends, without proper resource and funding and money and all of that, and fights for an African child to at least have a skill they can use to support. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So, hence, there isn't. And going forward, we are going to look for human beings like Ndate Fredinya Taylor to deliver the lecture on a yearly basis.
Sure. Great. Yeah, this is quite riveting stuff. If you've just joined us, welcome to the first annual Flightcase Movement Lecture, which is titled The Death of the Industry, the Death of the Technical Events Industry. And today, Kholofelo Sewela, if you don't know my name, that's my name. I'm with Kagiso, Moima wa Masimini. And we are talking about all the problems that our industry is currently facing, and the reason why we are having this lecture to come in as a light that will illuminate the darkness that we are currently experiencing.
Yeah.
So, you spoke about corruption.
Yes.
Is our industry corrupt, or does it have corrupt elements? And what have corrupt elements brought to the industry?
I don't know. I have seen it. I have experienced it. I know the effects of a incompetent government. I have seen the slow progress in developing the industry because of their lack of participation when it comes to meeting the actual industry. And by the way, that is why I think the future of the industry needs a standalone. The live events or the technical production needs to stand on its own from whatever organization exists out there that seem to be speaking for the technical production sector.
When you're talking about
Because
organizations,
that gives away to corruption.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but when you are talking about our industry standing alone with an organization, I'm sure I was looking into Facebook the other day and I came across an organization that said to be standing for our rights.
Okay.
So I would like to know that there are organizations out there
Okay. Yes.
that are known to other
Yes.
people
Yes. And
that are
known
not
to
known
you.
to the whole industry.
Right. Right.
What role do you think they are playing in our industry? Are they doing enough to unite our industry, or
You know, I suffer the effects of non-effectiveness and no solution-based organization.
why
I
why
know
why
that.
why are
I
these interventions not happening through these organizations?
well, look,
These
look. I don't want to speculate. I don't know their vision. I don't know their objectives. I don't know their mission. But I know the effects of the lack of those things. And I experienced it. I experienced it, and many more are there. And I don't want to be so self-indulgent as if these things are just happening to me. I'm talking about when I say, the sector or the people I talk to on a daily basis, and they feel the same way. They feel unrepresented. They feel some sort of organization that they maybe belong to have failed them. There is no, there isn't a place where they can run to and say, you know what, this is my problem, address it because. But then as well, are we saying, are we not supposed to participate in those organizations so that our voices can be heard? And if their voices are not heard, then what is the solution? What is to be done?
yeah. I meant to understand that Feed a Crew
Yes.
is one of those initiatives that came out or at the back of the industry having a representative that couldn't basically feed the crew.
Yeah. Look,
And Feed the Crew
Yeah.
came in and, started feeding. And when was tell us about Feed the Crew. Let us just,
feed our crew.
yeah, feed our crew.
Our crew.
Yes.
Yes.
Feed our crew.
No.
Let us talk about Feed the Crew. What made you
No.
and other people start Feed the Crew?
Yeah. It started out of a conversation I had with Tamsin Stradom. So we knew each other from Facebook, and obviously now we acquaintances, I can say. And we were sitting. It was during level 5. Was it level 5?
The highest level, yes.
Yes, the highest level. And everyone was and everybody, social media was buzzing with complaints. And they were directing.
What kind of complaints?
Well, people were asking, what are certain organizations doing to try and give them some kind of an indication what's going to happen to them and the industry, and really, I'm not interested in names, naming anybody. We know. History is there for everybody. You can go back to the Facebook history and look at the comments, and there were even WhatsApp groups, and it was just everyone was so agitated because they did not know where. They didn't have a mother to cry to. They did not have a father to cry to. Or if they did, they believe they did, then it fell on deaf ears. Tamsin and I were like, no, Tamsin, there's something that we can do. Let's be solution based. And we really going to focus at making sure that the little that we can gather through donation from generous people who've donated, and thanks to them we initially gave out 1,000 rand vouchers for people who were in need, and the number increased, and now we had to drop the amount to 500, to a point where we have to slice that 500 to 250.
Wow.
And recently, thanks to Sanlam and those who were involved behind the scenes, they just offered the feeder crew 50,000 rands so that we can continue. This was like last week.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, Thursday
Yes,
or Friday,
Thursday or
something.
Friday.
So it was born out of irritation and frustration and lack of commitment from an industry that we think we belong to. That's why I get it. The botata ke hore. There isn't a place where we can say this is where we belong
Yeah, and this is where we can cry.
and we are heard.
We are heard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ba re
True.
utlwa hore ke la
Yeah,
bona, dillo tsa rena di reng.
So, to fast track, and then obviously the Flightcase movement
Yes.
was born.
No, that was the Che Guevara's and Fidel Castro's. I know.
Do you want to tell us about the idea behind the Flightcase movement? I think there is quite a lot of false information or wrong information based on why the Flightcase movement was actually formed and the purpose of Flightcase movement and where the Flightcase movement was actually heading. Do you want to take us through that?
From feeder crew, Temzen, Lefa, Michael Muipolai, Sizwe, Mukwena, and many other industry people. I'm not going to call them, we were just ordinary people. And at that point, it was a burning point because we were not getting any feedback. And we would hear people had meetings with government departments and then, piano, twanzi reading, and we cannot, the information is not tangible and malleable enough for us to say, oh, at least there's hope. You understand what I mean? Out of a dark period, leaders are born. And that is what Flightcase movement was about. It had a mandate. There we had a mandate. Like, government, we detail everything that we want, and we want you to fulfill them until they slash the 1.2 billion rand to 665 million, and even that money
it's not accounted for.
It's not accounted for. It's not to be seen anywhere. And now there's court cases and people. We know of people who got money, and some people have been taken to court, and but out of the Flightcase movement, the Solidarity Fund at least came through. You understand what I mean? But that is because the unity of South Africans in the live events sector at that moment, we had reached a boiling point and we could not take words. Che Guevara says words are beautiful, action is supreme.
Action is supreme, yeah.
You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So we had to take action and take the fight to the doors of the department that knowingly will be receiving money from the treasury, 1.2, but then the treasury now hears, hey man, only 300 million that vanished. It's not funny, it's painful, and it's unfortunate that, the government really is out of touch with what's happening. But again, I am not only throwing the stone, I'm throwing it back to us. Can you tell me what is the GDP of the live events and technical production sector?
Well, I can tell you about the UK. I can tell you about the US because those people seem to be more.
Simple question. How many people work in the sector?
How many people work in the sector? It's quite a lot of people.
While you think about that one, how many trucks do we own as a sector?
We own quite a lot of trucks.
No, give me a number.
I can't give you a number. I can't give you a number because I don't think it's really accounted for.
Sure.
It's something that is.
How many companies exist in the live events and technical production sector?
How many?
Companies.
Yeah.
Yes. How many companies?
It's quite a handful. It's quite a lot, actually.
It's a huge number.
It's a huge number.
So, in as much as we blame government, we don't know ourselves.